Hello, everybody, and welcome to Market Moves. I'm Jason, the Wizard of Ops, and with me, as always, is Dark Matter, who woke up for us today. How you doing, Jay?
I'm here. I'm not trading futures, obviously, and it's killing me because I'm like, what a great move, both up and down overnight. So I came to join you this morning instead, Wiz. All right, you can thank me for that.
How was your weekend?
It was good. Did some moving helped my brother with some moving, but my back is just destroyed a little bit. The old age is just not the same as it used to be, right? Helping people move. So it was not worth a couple beers.
Jill in particular makes fun of me because I got a varsity letter in high school for chess. And she's like, oh, yeah, that physical movement with your that deserves a varsity letter. Here you go. And that's like what I feel now. Like I have my best friend works blue collar in a warehouse, and I'm sitting there complaining about stiff legs for sitting here for too long. It's like, yeah. All right. So anyway, Jay, let's get moving. What do we got?
Yeah, let me jump right in here. So I think last week, just I want to call out great series of shows on Wednesday. I thought the content was really put together well. I thought the guest speakers you had a lot of knowledge, brought a lot of different sides to trading and strategies. So first of all, just bravo and kudos on what I thought was a great day. But yeah, so speaking of which, we also did trade. And I think I would say here, just last week's recap. I was looking to get to 6,900 ES, which was roughly about like the 68.75 ish level in the SPX. We did trade that a couple of times, rejected it, and sell off, right? Especially towards the end of that week there, we had 2 robust days of sell-offs. We came into Friday overnight trading, and I think I did trade overnight on Friday, and I actually called for a V-shaped rally, the sell-off, and then a V-shaped rally going into the regular trading hours. So all in all, the Volland data was great last week, so I'm going to first call that out. We saw some really great dealer positioning, the resistance levels. You just had to be patient, right? You just waited for that burst up, hold, short it, and off you went. So I think this week's going to be a little bit interesting as well, Wiz, especially overnight. I our levels we had looked at 67.75, that region above there, essentially resistance. Lots of dealer, Gamma and Vanna that are present in that area. You need a catalyst to kind of get past that level. And so this, retracement here overnight is not shocking. We're at a key critical level, 67.20, 25. So this week, I think there's going to be a lot of mean reversion. Although the government has opened, there's not a lot of catalysts this week besides one, which is Wednesday, NVIDIA's earnings. So my TLDR for this week essentially is I think we're going to mean revert up and down kind of the quarter of what I call about 6,700 to 6,785. So that's kind of like my ends of the range for this week. Any break up or below that is going to trigger whatever leg you're looking for. So you break above essentially 6,800, you're going to get that next leg. I think you're going to go chase 6,900 for sure this time. And you know what? If we get a catalyst movement, maybe you get up to 6,920 even potentially. Outside of that, I see us mean reverting. You break 6,700, things can get pretty ugly. Not only do I think you can go test last week's lows, but there might be a newer low that gets created out of this week if we do get an increase of volatility. I'll quickly pause. Wiz, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, last week, first of all, Wednesday was great. And thank you, Jay, for coming on, joining our panel of basically Volland super users. And, the intraday trading with Hunter was also very, every level we called was hit. It was was actually fortuitous. It doesn't happen like that every single time, but it happened like that this time, and that was
Perfect.
great. It was nice because of, because publicly it happened. So a couple things though that as far as, first of all, like last week, mainly because of Wednesday, I was notoriously flat. I was hoping for a break of 6,900 SPX and then like a spike above, and then I was gonna, as I said in the Discord, I was gonna short like crazy. But that didn't happen. We just approached and we retreated. And then after Wednesday, I was like, oh, we're back in no man's land. So I'm gonna wait. I do think that overall, like the trend is going, we're kind of in a topping process. There is a possibility of a spike to new highs, but I see that as the lower of, the possibility of spike to new highs versus spike below like the, what is that, August or October 10th lows, like 65 something. I see them as kind of like equal weight swing level, so 2 to 6 week level theses. There is NVIDIA earnings on November 19th. I do think there is a possibility that there could be jobs this week. Just by how I know like how those surveys are collected, and I think they might do a jobs report to try to get everybody, try to get these reports back on like a schedule. It would be for October, so you still have like, it won't be November 1st, won't count, but yeah. So I think I remember reading somewhere there is a possible release of a jobs report. And then there's FOMC minutes on Wednesday, November 19th. But I think also this is OPEX week, so there is definitely the chance of a lot of whipsaw for this week.
Yeah, that's always a good call on the OPEX week. I'm definitely with you there. Is Vixpiration this week as well? Off the top of my head, I think it is, right?
Is what? Vixpiration? Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, and let's jump into here with the additional trade plan. So I want to come back to my point. I'll wrap it up here in just a minute, but let's just roll through this. So event catalyst, we do have the government shutdown now, not shut down anymore. So Wednesday is going to be your first look into data besides some of the jobs data you just mentioned, or at least what's planned supposed to be coming out. So you've got housing starts and building permits. So we'll finally get a look into how the housing market is doing. Wednesday also is the FOMC minutes. It's not the meeting itself, but the minutes from the last meeting. And then Thursday, we've got existing home sales as well. So
I think the minutes can be very interesting because the vote to cut by 25 bips was what's the word? Had two defections. What's the word I'm looking for?
Like opposite votes or whatever.
Yeah, two people did not vote for a 25% BIP cut. One wanted 50 bips, and that was Steve Miran. Duh. But then the other one wanted to not cut. So there was like on both sides. So I'm interested to see how that went down in the minutes. Like, a lot of times you kind of, you get a little bit more insight into how those debates happened. So I'm interested. I do think too that if more FOMC governors take either of these two seriously, and based on Chair Powell's comments, it seems like we probably won't cut in December. So it's very interesting. I'm interested in seeing these FOMC minutes and the insight that we have, because not cutting in December is a reversal from the last meeting. So,
well, and I think that's also one of the reasons why I'm not as giddy of a Santa rally, to be just quite honest. Is I don't know what the volatility will come out of all of this data. We haven't been presented for what, 50 some odd days or 60 some odd days, I believe the shutdown was. So that is going to be, as you said, hey, the opening of the government will be bearish. I remember that a couple of weeks ago here, right? So we exactly got that. It was a sell the news vibe, going into overnight trading. I think that was Wednesday or Thursday off the top of my head, right? So I'm with you. I think there's more volatility to have here, and to showcase that, let's keep going here. Just before we do that, we've got earnings still, some important earnings this week as well. Obviously, we know NVIDIA, that's the big one. That's Wednesday. But some of the other ones that personally myself, I like to kind of keep an eye out. Home Depot, how's the consumer doing? Target, obviously, as well as another one. Walmart being another consumer uh, ticker, and then also Lowe's here. So I kind of want to see the consumer spending health essentially out of those four tickers. And then a lot of folks will like trading Baidu here as well. So they are also reporting earnings. And then I'm just taking a look here outside of maybe Palo Alto Networks. I think those are the big ones for this week.
Yeah, Home Depot and Lowe's are a big deal. I mean, the housing market, housing construction has been coming down, and Home Depot and Lowe's, that housing markets tend to be a leading indicator of the business cycle. So, to see Home Depot and Lowe's, if they both report poorly, then we can, that could be, again, swing, intermediate, long-term thesis. You could start seeing cracks in the economy.
Agreed. Which, lots of volatility for the week. Your weekly expected move is about 144 points on the week. So volatility is not going anywhere this week again. And so that kind of puts you in terms of boundaries of those upper lower ranges, about 68.79 and 65.89. So, and the implied volatility quite high as well. So expect, as I said, minimum mean reversion. You break a key level this week, it's not going to stop. This thing is just going to keep going this week. So, Wiz, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we almost had a vol event last week. That kept me out of the market, because I'm like, if the vol event is happening, I can't just go blindly bearish.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is wide, and it's kind of funny that those boundaries, the 6,600 area and the 6,900 area, that's like our boundaries too. So probably not a coincidence.
Not at all. All right. So in terms of just dealer zones for this week, I mean, so right now, like we're in a critical zone. Like we kind of hit my upper range, as I said, this in overnight, 67, 75. Up to 85 even was a area of, dealer resistance. And even on the support side, we've just tested the bottom range of the 67.20 here in futures. We're holding it right now, but it's consolidating there. In my opinion, those levels break. That's your Blakes for this week, right? Or in terms of the movement that I see. So those are the levels I'm kind of looking for. We'll jump in here, look at some of the Volland levels, but while I kind of pulled those up, Wiz, do you want to give any of your thoughts?
No, I mean, yeah, I essentially agree with what you're saying. I mean, I trade in a longer time frame, and those expected moves for this week is kind of my expected move over the next 2 to 6 weeks. So, yeah.
Yeah, and some of those things, just for, Gamma and Vanna, like those are going to play, like you already saw Gamma played a hand overnight. That was the region we rejected, right? So now you're going to have to look at Vanna here. And as I kind of mentioned how I trade, right? I'm now looking at how volatility is trading at the 67.20 level, right? We continue to see an increase in that volatility. That level is going to break. You're going to go right to the next level, which, is about 66.90, 6,700. That's your next level of support. And below that, there's like an air pocket, in my opinion. I call it an air pocket just because the dealer's range is quite robust there, right? So if you go below 66.90, there's like another 25 to almost 40 points there
Yeah.
towards that 6650 region. And you can see in the charts there too, there's like a wick constantly at that level. Those wicks are going to get tested. And if you see even more throughout the week volatility come out of these, let's say any jobs data, housing data, I wouldn't be shocked if we test that lower range of that expected move this week, Wiz.
Yeah, me neither. I agree.
So watch volatility intraday if you're trading zero DTEs. That is going to be your guide. So in terms of like those key levels for me, there's just a slew of resistance, and especially dealer resistance as you get above 67, 75. So we had, and that's exactly where we rejected overnight. Strong gamma, even charm. If you're looking at overnight, you've seen that there. You've got delta shorting. Dealers got a short, delta up in the 67.85 region. And this is, negative, just as completely negative above 6,800. So, as a bull, if you're going to be trading along in here, it better be a scalp, or you better see a clear signal to take you out of volatility, because that's what it's
In
going to take.
short, probably don't trade there.
Yeah, just avoid trading this zone.
Yeah.
And then to the downside, we kind of talked about that, right? So we are trading right in this delta supported region here. If that holds, it's like ping pong is what you're going to see. That breaks, you get that pocket to 6,700 to 6,690, as we said. And structurally, if you break that one, that's all hands are off at that point, right? Like you are going to see a violent move. You'll see volatility spike quite a bit. So that for me is interweek, the levels and any in-between levels that I will be playing throughout the week.
All right. And there you go, Roger. He answered your question.
There we go. Let's and I'll pull that up, right? So for anyone curious on charm here, I'll let you. This is your platform here, so why don't you speak to charm a little bit? I gave the regions.
So a lot of that green is these premium sellers, and this is something that we've seen is a lot of premium selling. However, that red right there are put buyers. So I think down there, like you could see a little bit of support, but once we break down into that green area, that's when you could start to get a little dicey. The upside is not seeing much traffic at all, but there is some premium selling on the upside too. So.
Agreed with you. And those are why they are key levels.
Yes.
All right. So with that, let me go back to the trade plan, make sure we didn't forget anything.
Go to the trade plan. I'll be right back.
Yep. So in terms of just kind of looking over again to recap that, the one thing I did not talk about was just fixed futures levels. I think today, right now, we're trading at about 20.35. So we're right in the band of volatility, right? So 1950 is kind of the lower threshold of what I think we're going to be holding from a volatility standpoint. You're in the mid range right now where you're going to see that chop, and you see the VIX futures get above 2035 heading towards 21. That's when you're going to start getting some major downside moves. So if you see us get above 2035, you'll get to that 6690, in my opinion, or close to it. And then you see VIX futures north of 21, you're definitely going to see, in my opinion, 6650 come sooner than later. So those are the VIX levels. We talked about the dealer levels. So yeah, that's essentially what you're kind of looking at for the market here. This week, again, it's going to be hard for the bulls, in my opinion. I think especially with OPEX this week, you're going to get either a lot of mean reversions, and you got to practice patience with a Y, and you'll get paid here. But otherwise, for this week, look at those two key levels, and off we go. I know Wiz had to drop, but let me see if we have any questions left here. Good day. Hello, Johannes. Nice to see you as always. Pollock, nice to see you as well. Hello this morning. If we don't have any questions, I think we are good, Joe. That is all I have on my end, but I might sign off for Wiz on his behalf. So thank you for joining us this week on Market Moves on Volland. Best of luck to all of your trading this week.